I'm Kazmary Carup. I went to Newaygo High School. I now teach at Newaygo Middle School. Graduated in 1989.
All right.
I'm Dan Dipple. I went to Hesperia High School, also graduated in 1989. I teach at White Cloud Public Schools. I teach junior high and high school.
And I'm Rachel Kingsley. I graduated from Grant, and I'm teaching at Grant Middle School.
And what year did you graduate?
2005.
Do you guys remember anyone attending any of the art inns at Camp Newaygo?
I do remember going one year. I just remember making an angel. I remember specifically, we did these silicone molds, and I don't remember who the artist was, but I remember I made an angel out of molding clay, and then we made a silicone mold out of it, and it was so cool. Yeah, but it was a really fun experience, and I remember sitting with students from other schools and meeting new people, so it was a really cool experience.
Did you know Tony Kieran in school?
Yeah,
So
he
were you
was
guys
a
there
couple years
together?
older than me, and yeah, we had some art classes together and stuff.
Would you
so.
be surprised to know that Kara O'Brien taught that class and he was there also? I think you were all three.
Yeah.
Another weird coincidence. All right, how about any of the field trips we used to take? It would be a day-long field trip. What do you remember about that?
When I think of the trip to Detroit, I remember Frederick Church's Cotopaxi painting. It's a painting of a volcano in South America, and to me it was just the most amazing painting I'd ever seen. I'd never heard of it or anything. It just really made a big impression on me. And every time I've gone back, I always try to make sure to find that painting again and see it, and then show my students when I take them.
I kind of remember Detroit. I remember kind of the same thing. It was like you go in and you are seeing all these things you've never seen before. You've never been to a museum from a small town like this. There were so many artists that I've always wanted to see, and you walk in and you're like, oh my gosh, over here is a Kandinsky and stuff like that, and you're like, what the heck? This stuff's real. It's not just in a book.
Yeah.
It's real. And now when I teach my kids that, it just gives me more, I don't know, gusto to teach them because,
Yeah.
and especially to take them on trips like that. So it just helps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the annual art show. So first of all, was it a big deal?
It was a huge deal. It, like you said, it was the first time we've ever been able to enter stuff into something like that. And to walk through that show and see all of everybody else's stuff with your stuff, you're like, wow. I mean, people can create amazing art. Other students that you had no clue had any ambition even to do stuff like that. So it was really cool to see it all.
Yeah, I remember it was in a different building. It was
Downtown, which
Yeah.
doesn't exist anymore. It's
Right,
right on
Yeah,
the ground.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going and just being very proud to have and having people just compliment me on my work was great, and plus seeing all the fellow kids, in other schools,
Yeah.
it was great.
So you guys mentioned you both won the portfolio the same year. What year was that?
That would have been it was our senior year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
89.
89.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you got to go to Toronto for the big, 5-day
I
cultural
think that was the
immersion
first time.
That
It
was the first time they
Toronto trip.
did a overnight
Yeah,
trip.
that was so much
We had to
fun.
ride the train.
Sounds so
Yeah,
fun.
the train
Yeah.
from Lansing
Yeah.
to Toronto.
Yep.
And I didn't know him before this.
Right, because you went to different high schools.
Right, we did.
So the Toronto trip was maybe eight kids, something like that, roughly 10. I don't know. It wasn't a lot.
I don't know, it felt like there was a zoo of us.
These
And the
were
teachers were cool to hang out with
Yes,
too on
the
that trip.
teachers-
That was fun too.
that was cool
getting to know
because-
other art
Yeah.
teachers.
2 chaperones.
Yep.
Do you remember who chaperoned the trip you got when you went?
Dave Jakina.
From White Cloud.
And
Yep, and was it Huck?
it was Huck, I think.
Yeah.
Usually we one male teacher, one female
Yeah.
teacher. So Huck
Yeah,
and Dave Guccini.
it was Huck.
So what do you remember about that trip?
Just fun.
It was fun.
We went to. I remember seeing live jazz for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like jazz. I was a teenager. I was into rock and roll and stuff. But I saw a live trio. We're watching this live jazz, and it was great. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh wow, so this is jazz.
Yeah.
We saw that play. Was it 42nd Street I think it's called. There's
I
some
don't even
street.
remember.
A big
play.
musical, yeah.
A big musical
Like
play.
a Broadway,
Yeah.
a Broadway caliber.
Yeah,
It's like the
Broadway
Broadway
play,
in Toronto,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Did you
was
also-
awesome.
What was it like just hanging out with the other kids from the county who were all like the really talented kids who won? They're all the super artsy kids.
It was awesome because it felt like you were with your peers, we were all alike.
Right.
And in school, you're not all alike. In high school, to get to go to something like that and be together and all like the same stuff, it was crazy. It was a weird opening to my world.
So let's talk then about